it's insane because all the wrongdoings I've ever done in my life, and it's just washed away with the blood of Christ.
You're listening to the 3 Words Podcast. 3 Words represents the question we like to ask students on the college campuses of Queens and Long Island. What 3 words would you use to describe your life? Welcome to the 3 Words Podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Doran Shane Halse, and some nicknames I've gotten. One from this guy, Diesel. I'm pretty sure he's called me that before. Big D, DZ. Anyway, call me what you want. But I like to refer to this guy as the Canadian Candyman. Big Maple from Montreal. Anyway, this is Thomas Rodriguez. So we're launching this podcast. We're excited to tell the stories of Queens and Long Island, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, so you're listening to the 3 Words Podcast. 3 words represents a question I like to ask students on campus. What are 3 words to describe your life? And so we like to describe your life.
Amazing.
Get
so
a
every
picture
time
into their soul.
Yeah. So every time you tune in, you're going to hear students share, and not just students. Sometimes we'll throw in a couple other people, but people share their 3 words that describe their life at a certain time and then currently. So this week, our first guest is Jacob Najera. So welcome, Jacob. A little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm 21. I'm an inspiring entrepreneur. I'm a real estate agent. I love trying to find multiple sources of income. I live in Long Island, go to St. John's University for finance right now, a third year. And yeah, I'm also Peruvian Honduran also for my
Peruvian Honduran.
yeah, it's a weird mix, but I love it. I love it so much.
All right. Well, Jacob, so as it will be every week, we want to launch asking students to describe their life using 3 words, but we want you to rewind 5 years ago. So in your mind, what 3 words describe your life then?
Okay. So I was very undisciplined, kind of lost, and kind of dang. Yeah, so undisciplined.
Dang's an option.
I was lost, and I mean, I guess, kind of worried. I was worried. Yeah,
Wow.
very worried.
Thomas, do you have a follow-up on any of those words?
I don't. It sounds like a 16-year-old in some ways. Yeah. Jacob, tell us about home. What was it like for you? What role did faith play in that time of your life?
Yeah, so I was born a Catholic. So got baptized when I was younger. I At the time I was at a Catholic middle school slash high school, kind of. It was like this right over, just go to another building and you're in the high school. At that time, what's it called? My household was I had my mother that was Catholic. My dad, he was Christian, but he wasn't faithful. He was kind of this he had kind of no faith, to be honest. He was just more of a working man. He was just on the job 24/7. I was mostly with my mom. What's it called? My dad would just come, he was there, but not emotionally there at the same time, Um, but he was just providing, but not really providing for emotion based. Um, but yeah, it was that, my sister, my brother, and my half brother as well.
Were
But
you
yeah,
close with your siblings?
I was really close with I was really close with all of them. I love my little sister, even though I don't say it to her, but I always love it. very annoying though, you know. My brother, I love my older brother, both of my older brothers, but I actually do love my half brother more, only because he's just more. I look up to him a lot. He put me onto veganism, and what's it called? And he's very successful in his life right now. My brother is coming up, but I look to my older brother. He's the oldest, so we all look up to him a lot.
Ah, nice. I was wondering if we were going to bring up veganism during
Mhm.
this. So, love it. I love it.
Been vegan for 3 years, so.
Nice. So we got connected to you when you met my wife at the Apple store.
Hmm.
And that was a year and a half ago ish. So spring
Wow. Okay.
2023. And so before you tell us um more of that story, what was going on in your life during that time?
So at that time, I was a freshman still. I think I was a sophomore actually, like a first semester sophomore. So at that time, I actually joined a fraternity. I was going through a lot to join this fraternity. I was kind of like just doing it just to kind of put my mind off a lot of things, a lot of problems I had in my life.
Mm,
Um, and I love my fraternity bros and everything like that because it's a really good community to join. I joined not to go like to parties or anything like that. I only went to join because of the networking, because we do conventions and stuff like that, which is really nice. But at the time, I was kind of thinking to myself a lot and like where I was kind of going. I was kind of drifting a lot. So I wasn't sure how I was going to become a realtor, how I was going to become financially free. And it was just like I had so much worry. And then out of nowhere, I kind of just like, I really should be reading my Bible, you know.
mm,
I was trying to go to church a lot more, my Catholic church, because I just felt a sense of peace. But at the same time, I always knew I needed to read the Bible. I just didn't know how. And I kept on saying that to myself for quite a while, for like months. And that's when Amy came in, and I had the odds of me meeting her is very, very slim because she had to go through a whole list to get to be seen. You know, at the time there was like I think three other people ahead of her, and I was with a customer for quite a while, and then once I was done, she was next up, and I helped her out during that help. She actually didn't even mention crew at all until we were just talking for at least like 2 hours on like what iPad or even just my life, or just like oh where I went or where I was going to and stuff like that. But I was like, she was helping me understand that hey, we have a community in St. John's that helps out people reading their Bible, which was mind blowing. I was like, what? But at the same time, I kind of thought I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is like a scam or something like that. You know what I mean? People that's
yeah.
come up and say like, oh, hey, do you want to join this? You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I kind of just met you. You know, I'll have that faith.
Yeah.
But honestly, if they haven't reached me out on like the day that they were having Bible study, I don't know, I would have forgotten about it and not have gone.
mm.
And I was very thankful. I went because that's when I met the people there, and that's how I met Thomas.
Jacob,
And
you mentioned like you felt this sense like I should be reading my Bible. Do you
Mhm.
know, was there some like was there something that caused you to think that, or like what
the
was that? What do you think that what that nagging sense was?
I
What
felt
was
like
driving that?
I felt like it was that I was kind of going through a sense of like I don't know what I'm doing or how I'm like gonna get to this or how like I kind of so I knew a pathway of what I needed to do, but that pathway was becoming a man of God and um having faith in God. But I didn't know a lot about God. And I was like, okay, I heard from, my school and stuff like that, oh, you got to read your Bible. But honestly, they were just telling me stories about in the Bible, but never like the little things about how I can apply it to my life. Um, I kind of think it was when I was kind of um I was just lost. I don't know. I was just like I was going through days of just repeating, going to school, just trying to learn something new, and it just like I was just keep on going, 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 and it just I wasn't going anywhere at all. And I was just like, I just need some guidance. And that's when I was like, I had a nagging feeling. Just it was just out of nowhere, and it was just kind of like this itching in my brain, just like I should read the Bible. I should read, and that was literally it. Just reading the Bible, reading the Bible, reading the Bible. And it wasn't even going to church or anything. Like it was just reading the Bible. That's literally it, and it was super weird. Um, and I was like, I told myself I don't know how to. I literally don't know how to, and it was such an excuse because I could have just simply searched up on YouTube or anything like that to do it, but it was just honestly, it was just I was kind of lost. I just didn't know. It was just kind of itching in my brain, in the back of my brain.
Hmm. Hmm.
There we go.
So a light shone from Apple, and Amy walked out. Jacob, since that day at the Apple store and that time period in your life when you
Mhm.
met Amy, we got connected. How's your view of Jesus changed?
Okay, so when I met you guys, all you guys, and you had me in a coffee shop one day in Dunkin', you're like, "Hey, like, are you doing anything after this?" And I was like, "Oh, no, not really." So you brought me over and showed me the KGP, knowing God personally. What's it called? I at the time, I before you told me anything about Christ or anything like that, I knew Christ died for us, but I didn't know the true meaning. Like as soon as you told me about how Christ really died for us and how what that meant, of like you having like I had none of my good works would get to God. And it was just like that. It's just the belief of Christ is what you need. And when you told me, it was mind blowing, like everything connected. I was like, wait, what? That makes so much sense. And it was really honestly so mind blowing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to know more.
Hmm.
And that's when I was consistently just going every week to Bible study, and it was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, um, until obviously recently I got baptized. But yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Amazing. Amazing. So how has your understanding of the Christian life changed since you started following Jesus? I feel like you kind of answered this a little bit, but is there
Mhm.
anything, let me rephrase that. So would you add anything to what you just said? Do you feel like you want to add anything to what you just said about how your Christian life has changed uh since you came to know Jesus?
100%.
Started following him?
So before I became a Christian, and I surrendered to Christ, um, I was still kind and everything like that. I never really had hatreds for anyone, but I never knew how to kind of I didn't know where to put my emotions, or like had guidance to it. I kind of just held it to myself and it would just bottle up a lot. And I had no sense of like morals. I did have morals, like I didn't drink or smoke. I never did. Um, but everyone around me, my friends and stuff like that, they'll be worldly and they will like bring me to parties and stuff like that. And in my body, like I'm telling you, I just felt so uncomfortable of like being surrounded with just loud music, everyone just dancing around. And I was just like, I really do not like this at all. I like house parties where I can actually have a conversation with someone and like get to know someone in there, everyone was just drinking and smoking, and I was so out of place. Um, and since I kind of gave myself to Christ, I honestly see a lot of like foundation and very much discipline in my life where I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do, and I know God is going to be with me. Beforehand, I knew of God, but I never knew God was like really with me. Um, I kind of was like, oh, like I go on my Sundays, that's a check mark. That's literally it. It was kind of more like when I was a Catholic before, nothing got wrong with Catholics or anything like that. It's just in my experience, it was just mostly like, okay, you got to do your rosaries, and you got to talk to this saint and stuff like that. It was just like I never had a connection or relationship with Christ. It
Mm.
was more like, okay, I went to church, check mark. I went to confession, check mark. Um, it was just like check marks, and it wasn't like, okay, I actually want a relationship. Like, who are you? And what do you want, and like you want me to do when you're in my life,
Hmm.
And once I gave myself to Christ, it was honestly like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do, and I want to become, financially free to use my money to kind of help the community. Actually, I just signed up today to a short missions trip to Honduras to actually help out the community over there,
Amazing.
which is amazing. And I'm from Honduras, so I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, dude.
Um, and I just did not care about how much it cost. I was just like, I needed to go no matter what.
Mm.
So it's honestly amazing because in my past life, I would not have done that. I would be really scared. Um, and I would be really stingy with my money and stuff like that. But now, like, helping others it's so much of more reward than gaining money or anything like that.
Mm.
That's beautiful. That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
No, I love your excitement is contagious, and it reminds me of when I came to know Jesus, and it just I think people are going to really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking I was going to ask you a question about like how have you uh how has your uh understanding of others like increased or changed? But I mean you kind of like went down that road in answering that anyway. Like just
Mhm.
seeing that as Christ has transformed your life, um
Mhm.
your focus has as you focus on Christ, he helps you focus on others,
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
And so, yeah.
How I kind of view it is like all my good works is not my good works. It's like God's good works.
Hmm.
It's literally Christ doing this. And it's like it's not even me. Like once I signed up, I did not hesitate of like spending that much money at all. It's not a lot right now. It's a deposit of only $200. But at the same time, I had like credit card debt right now, and I'm just like I need to pay those off. But every time I kind of worried about it, um, and kind of just let it just kind of do its thing, like it always worked out. Like
Mm.
I just happened to like actually hit it, and I'll like don't have to worry about it at all. And it's super surprising because I'm like, oh, I'll be stressing, and I'm like, okay, like how am I gonna do this? Like I gotta save this amount, this amount, this amount. And it's just like when I don't worry about it, it just solves itself. You know what I mean? It's super amazing. Definitely God doing his works. Um, but I do see a lot since I became a Christian. I just had a really good joy, and a lot of people are seeing it in even my work. Saying like my famous phrase is better than great. When someone says to me, "Hey, like how am I doing?" I say better than great, and now everyone in the store says it now because it's such a positive kind of way, and they see the brightness in me of like
Mm.
just the kindness and everything like that.
Mm.
It's honestly amazing. I love it a lot. They see a lot in me. Hmm.
I love that. Those are your three words to end. Better than great.
Better than great.
Um, Jacob, um, you had this like amazing like aha moment with Jesus and the
Hmm.
cross, right?
Hmm.
Has that how has that like propelled you forward to help others have that?
Hmm. So I definitely did that with my good friend Alonzo. So he's been someone I always like grew up with high school wise. We've been friends since sophomore year of high school. But once I had that aha moment, I just had to tell someone. So I literally told him, and I was like, "Do you understand this? Like, this is literally insane. Like, oh my gosh." Um, and that's when me and him, or I was telling him, "Hey, do you know, we should go to this meeting, this crew meeting, like it does Bible studies and stuff like that." And at the time, he was kind of stingent. Like he was like kind of worried. He was just like, "Oh, like I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I'm gonna go." But I just kept on pushing him, pushing him, pushing him, and now he goes like to almost all of them. He goes to the youth group that I go to. He goes to the church that we go to. Me and him, just
He's sitting right
consistently,
next to me. Okay.
and what's it called? Me and him consistently go to church. Even like when I was going to Catholic church, we used to go together all the
Mm.
time. And now that we found our actual church that we love, which is Shelter Rock Church in Syosset, um, me and him were just like, oh my gosh, like we missed out so much. This is honestly amazing. Like this, the service there, the pastors over there, it's just honestly amazing. Um, but me, I see a lot in him like growing stronger and stronger and stronger. Um, but yeah, I see a lot, and also like trying to tell my parents and my sister about Christ, and just telling them, hey, like just put Christ above anything. Honestly, just put that over anything, and that's all I care about, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Man, it's beautiful. So Thomas alluded to it, but so what three words would you use to describe your life today?
Right now, so faithful, or yeah, faithful, disciplined, very disciplined, and I would say joyful, very joyful.
Man, what an amazing story. It's been such a pleasure hearing from you. I want you to have just a platform, to share just your own words that no questions prompted from us, but thinking of the people that might be listening to this podcast. What would what kind of words, encouragement, hope do you want to share with these people?
Okay. Wow, there's John 3:16. Okay.
Dwarren would like you better if you read it in the CSB, please.
So for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Honestly, that is what changed my mindset so much. Where just the whoever believes in him, just belief, and it's just like it's insane because all the wrongdoings I ever done in my life, and it's just washed away with the blood of Christ. Um, it's just honestly amazing. It's just like how it's just believing in him, and not any of my good works or anything like that. It's just honestly mind blowing. That's literally the pinnacle of like why I switched. Just like the belief of it. Um, and it's just so much. And ever since then, it's just honestly, but just having the Holy Spirit and following the Holy Spirit, it just comes in with a bunch of like gifts and joy and just a bunch of discipline. But honestly, it's just the fruits of life. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's the pinnacle. John 3:16,
Yeah,
just the belief of him.
man, there's hope right there. All right, Jacob, thanks so much for sharing your story. Thanks for joining us. And like I said, the first ever Three Words podcast. And yeah,
Okay.
Have
Thank
a
you.
great
Thank you.
night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob.